Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Boda.
Here.
Mr. Patsalis.
Here.
Mr. Horn.
Here.
Mr. Blackstack.
Here.
Mr. Knotts.
Here.
Mr. Simons.
Here,
Cram here.
all present. Thank you. Ralph, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Certainly. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First thing we have is the approval of the agenda as presented. Does anybody have any deletions or additions to it?
No, I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
I'll support.
It's been moved and supported that we approve the agenda as presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have the approval of the minutes of September 15th, 2014.
No one has any changes. I make a motion we approve the minutes as presented.
I'll support.
It's been moved and supported that we approve the minutes as presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approves. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak on anything that's not on the agenda? If not, we're moving on to the consent agenda. We have C1, the September 9, 2014 Planning Commission minutes. C2, the August 2014 Investment Income Report. C3, the August 2014 Estimated Revenue and Expenditure Report.
No, we don't.
I don't
Oh,
have
we
that.
don't have it?
She gave it
I don't
to us
have it
at the
either.
last meeting.
From the last
Oh,
meeting.
that's right. That's right. It came from the last
Yep,
meeting.
from the last meeting.
And then the C4 is the September 2014 Building Department Report, and C5 is the Sheriff's Report. If the Sheriff would like to go up and give his first,
And do we need to take C3 off since everybody doesn't have one? She didn't send it out again. She just, whoever got it last month,
yeah, we can.
or last time. Okay.
Okay, the Sheriff's Report, does anybody have any questions on that? Did you have a chance to review it?
Looks about average to me.
Oh, it looks pretty
I
good.
looked at it, and I had a couple questions, but I gotta find it.
Did the sheriff have any highlights that he'd like to present?
I highlighted.
Looks pretty
I see
normal.
there was a, it looks like there was a problem in August with the decimal point down in the hours. Obviously, we didn't work 7,735 hours.
That was my question.
Yeah,
I got it
obviously it was
highlighted.
a decimal point or something, they made
Yeah.
it, they did it.
Either that or we got a lot of hours.
Yeah, but I don't think we have that many guys in the department to give you that many hours in a month, but
Right. The only thing I had a question on is other, assisted other departments, it seemed like we had a lot of them, 29 of them in August.
yeah.
I don't know what that entails, but
The right department's gonna call, they need it back.
It
so
does,
you're going on mutual aid or something like that?
yeah, usually that would be responding into St. Clair, Marine City, or out into one of the other closer townships.
Okay,
29 does seem, I mean, I know August is usually busier, so it's up a little bit, but to go from 2 to 29 seems high to me, but I don't, especially since it only dropped to 2 in September, I'd say that was a misprint, but I don't have the info for you, so.
okay. And this other one is malicious destruction of property, I see that was up a little bit. And would that be like this painting we're having going on over here on Park Road?
That's somebody damaged somebody else's property,
Yeah,
so
that's what
they
that was.
busted a mailbox, broke a window, that type of thing.
Okay.
Damaged a car, where they actually intended to do it, not accidental. So.
Right. Okay.
What is suspicious incidents? What would something like that be?
Oh, something we didn't know, like a neighbor calls, heard noise outside at night, saw some people standing at the end of the block, didn't know who they were. Somebody walking down the street wanted the ID because they didn't recognize them in the neighborhood or something, it just doesn't have a title.
Okay.
Like if it was a broken mailbox or something, we'd call it MDOP, but if it was two subjects walking down the road and or they heard a noise at the neighbor's house or a light on and they're out of town, we'd come check the property. That'd be a suspicious
Okay.
incident.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions?
No, other than that, it looks pretty normal.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it looks real good. I mean, I think you're doing a great job. I mean, we get a lot of patrols, a lot of hours. If nobody has anything else, I guess. All set, then?
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's have a good night.
All righty.
Have a good one.
You need a motion, don't you?
Yeah, we'll get a motion.
Are we gonna take C3 off since everybody doesn't have one?
We don't have one. We had one, but nobody brought it.
Well, I have mine, but if people didn't get a chance to look at it because they didn't get it in their packet, I mean, I can give you mine.
Well, we can table it. We can table it.
I'm not gonna be here next week, so
Oh,
as
all right.
far as I'm concerned, if everybody's happy with it, I'm not gonna complain.
Okay.
Then I make a motion,
There's no
we
sense in putting
accept
it
the
off, yeah.
consent agenda as presented.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we accept the consent agenda as presented. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, one on the planning commission. Are they going to put another tower up at the River District Hospital?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
It won't be us, it'll be River District Hospital.
I noticed that on there. They already got one up there. And
No, they took it down,
oh, they did?
and they're
Okay,
gonna put it at the same location.
okay.
Yep.
Because I know they're dealing with the Springborn Road one.
We are dealing with Springboard, that'll be East China's.
Yep. Okay, that's all I have.
Okay. So any further discussion on the consent agenda? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to disbursements, we have bills of $196,789.10. We have a payroll of $30,302.11. We have ACH payments of $48,583.45. We have a tax account of $2,538,832.94 for a total disbursement of $2,814,507.60.
I have one question.
Okay, Don?
On the first page, down the line, towards the bottom, it says, education savings, Askew and Corbett for MASP, state $110. Then on page 3, it's listed again, another date, education savings, Askew and Corbett for 9/30/14, same price, $110. I'm just wondering, I'm not
What
quite
page are you
sure.
on there, Don? That was your first one?
Number 1 was page
Oh, okay.
1, towards the bottom. It's dated 9/16.
Okay, that's
That's
the retirement account, the state retirement account, and that's just what she's
MESP.
calling it. It's money that comes out of their check to go to the retirement fund for the state. And it's,
Yeah, I seen that back there, but that's considered education savings?
well, that's what she's calling it, but it's state retirement money that they have to put in out of their check. I don't think they have a choice.
Okay.
I can question how she presents that, though, Don.
Other than that, I have nothing else. I'll make a motion to accept the bills for $2,814,507.60.
I'll support it.
It's been moved and supported that we pay the bills $2,814,507.60. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Knotts?
Yes.
Mr. Blackstock?
Yes.
Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Mr. Patsalis?
Yes.
Mr. Boda?
Yes.
Mr. Simons?
Yes.
Graham, yes.
Motion carries. Okay, moving on to new business. We have the reappointment of Debbie Babel to the Historical Commission through October 6th, 2017.
I'll make a motion, we reappoint Debbie Babel to the Historical Commission through October 6th of 2017.
I'll support.
All right, it's been moved and supported that we reappoint Debbie Babel to the Historical Commission. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, new business 2, DPW position. This is the DPW light equipment operator, backhoe qualified. We put an ad in the paper, and we had 16 applicants, and we had a committee, and the committee's selection was, the most qualified for us was Brett Telto, to be the next DPW employee. Is there any discussion on that, or?
That name sounds
Who's his
familiar,
ref-
don't it?
oh, Who's his references? Just curious.
This is my sheet,
It's the same,
right there.
same company we hired to do the water line.
He did it, he was on that water line.
That's probably his kid,
Nephew.
nephew.
Does he have, the licenses or whatever need
There's
qualifications?
no
or-
licenses. Most people, unless you work with the water distribution system, you can't get a license.
Oh, okay.
And what the candidate that, none of them had the licenses.
This is an entry-level position, isn't it?
Well, this is an operator, a backhoe operator. But one of the reasons we picked this one, he has so much experience at hooking up water lines and sewer lines
Okay.
that his time in the field would qualify for him to go and write the state license sooner.
Okay.
Because what they say is, Mike McLeod explained that to us, that time in the field is just like having time in college working on this stuff.
Okay.
So the state recognizes that time in the field working on that, on water systems is what he does. If anybody would like to look at the resume, I have it right here.
He's probably affiliated with the company that we just hired to do that water line. He probably works with
Correct.
them.
He's not an owner or anything, he's
over
same last name. That was one of the questions we asked. He works for them.
Is this applicant still available for the position?
It is. I checked with a half hour before our meeting.
Well, I'll go along with the committee recommendation.
And I'll support.
Well, that wasn't a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm just commenting.
He knows how to drive the backhoe and do,
Oh, yeah.
water lines,
Yep,
sewer lines,
yep.
all that.
And he also knows how to do like these new water lines, to fuse them together. He knows directional boring. I think he'd be a real asset to the,
Committees.
Well, I can say the one we got, that Blaine, is very good, very good.
right.
He's excellent.
I'm telling you, we had all great candidates. It was hard to pick the right candidate. They were also qualified of all of them. We narrowed it down. Do you want to see it down? We narrowed it down to four and that we interviewed. I think you have a list before you of the people that actually applied. So I don't know what's your pleasure on this, if you. I also explained to the person that, it would be pending a physical exam, drug testing. What was the third one? Background check. And approval of the board. Those were the conditions that we told him that he had to get through. Because I think we want to do background checks on
Yes,
everybody we hire.
absolutely.
Especially they're out working with the public, they're going in people's backyards. He didn't think that would be a problem getting that.
Do we require a drug test?
Yes,
Yes.
He's got to take physical and everything yet, don't he?
yep, you have to do it all. That's all, of course, that's all at our expense, but, and he would be coming in as that's the nice thing about advertising for an operator. He'll be coming in at a pay grade 52, which is a DPW light equipment operator, qualified in the backhoe, which would be $23.51 per hour. He still has another class he can go up to, a 53, I think is the highest in the DPW. Where in the water plant, sewer plant, they go up to 54s. So, anybody else like to look at the resume?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Well, I'll
have
make a
committees
motion that
for.
we accept the committee's recommendation and offer Brent Telto, sorry, the position as long as he meets the drug background screen, physical
That would be
examination.
the position of the DPW light operator and backhoe qualified.
Okay.
I'll support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported that we offer the position to Brett Telto. Is there any further questions?
Congratulations and welcome aboard.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to the resolution 09-214, waiver of the 1% property tax administration fee. This is something we've done quite often in the past. Anybody like to read that resolution?
I'll read it. Resolution 09-2014. The following resolution, be it resolved that the Township Board of East China directs the Township Treasurer to waive the 1% property tax administration fee for the 2014 winter ad valorem taxes paid after February 17, 2015, and before March 2nd, 2015, as authorized under Act Number 88, Public Acts of 1983, and Section 44 of Act Number 206 of Public Acts of 1893, as amended by Act Number 503 of Public Acts of 1982, and be it therefore resolved that the Township Treasurer will collect a late penalty tax equal to 3% of such tax on all 2014 winter ad valorem taxes paid after February 17, 2015, and before March 2nd, 2015.
I'll support that resolution.
Okay, it's been moved and supported on the resolution 09-214. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries on the resolution. All right, moving on to announcements. Township offices will be closed Monday, October 13th, 2014 for Columbus Day. Also, the flu shot clinic will be held Saturday, October 18th, 2014 from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. at River District Hospital. And with that, we'll move on to member comments. Mr. Horn.
Is that the one on Township?
I took right up along Oakland, and the county done a very, very good job of cleaning that ditch out and putting the culvert in. Now I think the rest of it's up to the drain commission, isn't it? To open
Yeah,
up
we're
that
trying to work
halfway
with them and
drain.
get them in there.
They done a very good job. That's all I have.
One thing before we move on, Angelo, Mr. Bode asked, yeah, that flu clinic, that is sponsored by East China Township and the Rotary Club of St. Clair. We're 50-50 partners on that, so.
That's just for seniors, isn't it? Or-
Yeah, I think it's 55 and older. Mr. Pasales?
I just have one thing. I just want to send my condolences out to the Jim Fry family and Janine. As everybody knows, we lost a member of our planning commission. He did a lot for our township, and he worked very hard in our township. So, again, I don't know if the township, because he was on the board, Larry, if we can send something, but again, my condolences go out to the Fry family and Janine, and he's going to be sorely missed.
I agree. Mr. Bode?
Yes, I'd like to give my condolences to Janine Fry and to Jason, Jim's son, for the loss of Jim. It's kind of a shock, but it all happened pretty quick, so again, I give my condolences to the family. Thank you. That's all I have.
Mrs. Graham?
I'm all set.
I give my
Blackstock?
condolences as well. It'll be missed.
Well,
I got a couple of questions. Maybe it was resolved when I wasn't here last week. I'm sorry about that, but the assistant bookkeeper position status?
We still have to interview. We just finished collecting resumes and we have to go through them and then interview somebody.
Thank you. And also, there's a resolution on the thing with the cemetery trees.
I have, from the last meeting, I put together a bid package. I went up in the cemetery and viewed all the trees. We added another tree. And Mr. Boda was 100% correct. Those bids that we had before, they were a little incomplete on what trees.
No.
So I took and put a blue X on the trees that we want cut down and stumped out. We're gonna do the whole package. So far, we've got one bid back. I'm giving them a little bit more time to get some more bids back rather than just the one. The one we got back looks real good. So probably by the next meeting, we will have more to say on that. The only thing, when I put in the bid package, it's such a wet fall that if we drive the big truck into the cemetery, it's so soft up there, so I put in there, either you're gonna have to cut the trees when the weather is conclusive to do it, or you're gonna have to plank yourself back in there.
It'd be better off to wait till the ground
It froze. Well, then might have trouble chipping, but they might have to come back and stump them in the spring or something. I just don't want them to go in there with a big crane and tear up around all the stones. I think we're defeating our purpose.
Yeah, even if we have to pay some extra for a second trip back, I think you're right.
Right.
I agree.
So that's how I bid it. We'll see what comes back.
Leads on moving the flagpole.
Yeah, that was gonna ask, that was also, I saw something in writing about moving a flagpole. What's that?
I got that. I can talk to you about right now.
That's all I've got, so if you wanna,
Okay,
I'm
well,
done.
we'll move on to my list of comments. Yes, the flagpole. I got a hold of Rocket Flag Company, which is supposed to be, they're actually the ones that put it in. And I met them up there at the cemetery and told them, we want to move it. And he explained to me that flag just sits in a sleeve, just like your pencil thing. It just sits down in the sleeve in the ground. It's not bolted at all, and then they sprinkle sand
It's in
around
a
it.
sleeve, isn't it?
Yep, sleeve. So he says, it's not a big deal to pull it out. The big expense will be pouring the new footing. There's a chunk of concrete with the sleeve down in it. And they bring a crane in, and he said he would plank it. I actually met with him there, and he suggested that we go out, I think it's 34 feet from where it is right now, due south. Straight out, still centered on the chapel.
I
on the
seen a
front doors.
marker in there.
I put a stick there, a stake
Yeah,
there.
see, I seen it.
Okay. The price of that is $1,035 to move that. It's not an exorbitant price. I think they're gonna do it. I told them to go ahead and do it. They can't do it for a couple weeks, but they'll get it in before the only thing, they do not do any lighting. I think we'll be able to leave the light we got there. Right now, when the leaves come off the trees, the light will shine through that. But I think we're gonna have to look into putting some LED lighting like we did on our flagpole out here.
Okay.
I think that's the way to go. That's probably an inefficient light up on the top of the chapel that was put in the 80s. Now with these LEDs, they run for a fraction of what these other ones do. So I'll be getting prices. I've contacted our electrician on another little job, and he's gonna look at that and give us a price on that too. So that'll be forthcoming, but I'm gonna have them move the flagpole before it gets cold. So we can get it out of there, and if we have a military funeral, it's all set to go.
That'll look a lot better.
I think it's a nice spot. And, if we want to trim those trees, we can even trim them. Whoever gets that bid, we may have to add some associated trimming in the cemetery, because the cemetery person wasn't there the day we were up there. So if he's got some more he wants to trim.
You say you put an X mark on some of them trees?
On all the ones
was
I
in
want
there,
cut,
and I was in there yesterday, never noticed a thing.
Yeah, they're about that big. You're not gonna miss them. 'Cause I don't want no confusion. I want everybody to know what we're doing. And that was cut them down, haul them away, and stump them out.
My mind was somewhere else, I guess.
Okay, we're working on the budget, so if anybody's got anything for the budget, get it to me. I've already had some comments on it, and we've took care of those.
Is that budget gonna include anything for the school, for that foundation work?
No, we have, I'm meeting with the chairman of the museum, the historical commission, on Wednesday morning at 8:00.
Okay.
And to tell me about it. That's the work on the trees, okay? The big thing we got going right now is, if you're familiar in the sewer plant, the RBCs, they're those big Quonset huts that are white. We have 5 of them. The number 5 RBC, the shaft broke in it last week, September 30th. They don't make those anymore. We're in the process. We're meeting next Tuesday at 9 o'clock, and they're gonna give us our alternatives of what we can do to fix that. I don't know what it's gonna be.
To make a new shaft.
They don't make them, and I think if you guys remember, when Wade Trim gave us their
Pitch.
presentation on what we gotta do in the sewer plant, you know, that was the other $1 million. It's a whole different system if we go with it. I don't know, that's a decision the board's gonna have to make. Do we wanna throw a bunch of money at this one RBC, or do we wanna start looking at going to the other direction? I don't know. Let's wait till we get the,
You know, they don't make the replacement shafts, however, we may be able to have the broken piece, we may be able to have one made.
right.
That, you know, it's not beyond the realm of possibility to build it. If you have a broken part,
Yeah, they have a print,
for
they can
somebody
just
to duplicate it.
build it to the print, right. And that's probably what they're gonna offer us.
And that's probably a lot cheaper than putting a new RBC in
Oh,
there.
right, right. But those RBCs are 30 years old. I mean, Mr. Boda and Ralph know, because they're on
Yeah.
the sewer commission, you know, what we
They
got
were in
there.
there in the 80s.
Well, that's one of the things that was on the list of things to
Right.
do, and we put that into the second stage of work, I believe.
That's actually in the third stage, I think, wasn't it?
I believe so.
I think that was the last thing we were gonna, because they're $1 million to redo. So there'll be more forthcoming on that. Oh.
They lifted the one out of there, and it was what, 40 tons?
Yeah, they lifted it, our guys lifted it out, I think last Friday, and got it out of the system, and it's sitting in one of the drying beds right now, if anybody wants to drive by and look at it. It's pretty big. And like Don said, it weighs 40 ton. Also, the water tower, we're working on
30
that,
feet
we've been on
diameter.
that for a week or so. They've got one coat of paint on the inside, they got one coat of paint on the outside, and part of the outside with the second coat. The tank was in really good shape, it was done 10 years ago, and there wasn't much welding that needed to be done on it, so maybe we'll save a little bit there.
I didn't think of putting a name on the outside.
What's that?
Didn't want to thought to put a name on the outside.
No, I didn't do any more with that. I asked Dion, and I asked Mike, and they said, well, the exposure that tank gets, I mean, you gotta be right on top of it to see it. That's something we can add. This wouldn't be the company to put it on probably anyways.
I can see from the shirts.
Well, we can do that.
No, don't have to do that.
All right, the other thing, we got the bridge down here. The bridge is out. They've done a lot of piling. Our water line's working fine down there. So the bridge isn't scheduled to be done till sometime, I think, November the 22nd. The Dolphin water line, we started on that, Monday.
I was gonna ask you about that when they started on it.
Well, they actually started Friday. To back up a little bit, this is the first time I've ever been involved with something like this. We actually had a neighborhood tailgate party down there on Dolphin and invited all the neighbors to tell them what we're gonna do, explain it to them. We had the contractor, the engineer, the DPW, myself, were down there to answer any questions that were gonna go on, to tell the people when the water was gonna be off, what to expect. I mean, it went over just great. I mean, everybody was, you know, and this job has went really well. It's supposed to be done probably Thursday or Friday of this week. That'll be, they actually tied in the west side over on, Bell River Boulevard. They tied that in today. They're gonna tie in the Dolphin tomorrow. It's all been chlorinated. It should be up and running, probably
that's good.
tomorrow night.
Oh, that's good.
But then they gotta do the restoration and the backfilling and that.
Yeah, how did they drilled that, didn't they?
They
So
directional
you- so-
board it, yeah.
Yeah, so you've only got the places where they were.
We only
digging.
got a hole on each end. They directional board it through the middle.
Great.
And this gets back to that person we hired, you know, we may start doing some of that small jobs ourselves, because, you know, you can rent this stuff. You can rent this directional boring, you know, and then if we got somebody that can drive it,
They
Like
ordered,
this.
the township had one at one time and sold it.
yeah, but that was just for going under a road. That wasn't no distance like what we're talking here,
Oh, I know it was,
you know. That was
just go
a,
under a road or
yeah,
something.
that was a primitive jack type thing. yeah.
You
Okay.
had no problem getting the easement back there?
No, it was very easy. I mean, it was, worked really well. I just got a call tonight about this afternoon on my voicemail from the county, there seems to be some kind of snag now with this Springborn Road. I guess more to come next meeting. They're talking about delaying it maybe. I don't want to delay it because I don't want to lose out on our,
It's gonna lose our
our road,
funds.
our profit, our
Right.
road sharing money. So
Right.
I got to talk to the engineer tomorrow and see just what,
Didn't they, wouldn't that have said they already gave us the money or said that the money was available, right?
right.
So were they pulling it back for something else?
Well, no, they say that in my voicemail was that they're so swamped at the county that they can't get to do all the work in a timely manner, and they're afraid if they start on it, and then the weather closes in, that it'll be sitting there incomplete. Well, they've had all year to do it.
Are they gonna,
Well, and I think they need to still fund us when they
Yeah, I was
can
gonna
get
say,
that's
to
my
it.
question.
you don't wanna
Right.
lose
They
the
still
money.
gotta fund it.
Right,
We can wait a year,
If
but
they
if
have to
they
wait
have
till
to, but
spring to
I
do
don't
it.
wanna lose I don't wanna lose the money.
Right, and that's my main concern, so that's what we'll be looking at. And also, my condolences to the Fry family. Jim was a great guy, he was a real asset to have on the Parks and Rec Committee. He'll be sorely missed on there, so we'll get something out. With that, that concludes all I have. Does anybody else have anything? If not, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn at 8:02.
Support.
Motion's been made that we adjourn at 8:02. And supported, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, we are adjourned. Thank you.